So real quick, guys, two things I came across. I actually forgot to mention in the first video. So we got all done up, got the covers all cleaned up or whatnot. But two things I forgot to mention, big time. Timing marks. I already fired up and ran out of thing. But your timing marks, numero uno. So they don't stick out and they're not as distinctive as most vehicles are with their timing marks. So if you have to use some whiteout or some ink, see my little yellow dot right there? There's actually a little nipple that pops out where you're gonna line up your cam sprocket, your loaded cam sprocket too. Right here, your loaded cam sprocket has this dot. See this R3? Right on top of this R3 is a dot. You'll line up this dot to that nipple, that yellow fitting board. You'll line up this dot for this L3 is that. Line up this dot to that nipple right there. And if you can find it, if yours have yours, your crank timing mark, I actually had to draw it. And it took me like 2 tries. See that yellow mark right there? So that's on your block. And then on your actual sprocket, it's gonna be the same thing. You can see a little nipple. You can see where my little yellow line was right there, where it used to exist. And so what you're gonna do, you wanna line up your crank first. Line up your crank to your timing mark. Then line up your unloaded spring, your unloaded cam. This side, passenger driver side, which when looking at the engine is going to be considered your right side. Your left side, your loaded sprocket. So you're gonna run your belt from your crank counterclockwise, backwards, tighten it, run into that, and then put it over your tensioner. Boom. Then once you slide it over your tensioner, you put tension on it, tighten your tension. What you want to do before you ever fire up your car, you want to rotate your engine by hand at least 2 times to make sure your timing marks are exactly where they need to be. If they're not, if they're off 1 tooth, do it over again. Don't beat yourself up racing to it, whatever. Just keep doing it until your timing marks, your sprockets line up directly to those nipples behind there, to the actual timing marks. And once you rotated it twice, you're gonna fire it up and try it out, see where she goes. One other thing I did have to mention is when replacing your water pump, you want to when taking off your old water pump, taking off this old one, it didn't come off, it's clean. Here's the old belt. Like I said, no teeth. That's how old it was. Bad, just that bad. Water pump, you always want to change your tensioner. It's gonna come with the same, or you have to use your same spring. Water pump gasket, as you can see, it didn't come off all the way, so I had to go back in there with a razor. Use a clean razor, use a brand new razor. The newer the razor, the easier it is. The gaskets will come off. Grab one of these razors. Watch out so you don't cut your hands. Scrape off the gasket, scrape it off the block, off the water pump, off the block. You scratch it, scrape it. Get as much off as you can, then come back with 2 grits of sandpaper, one super thick and one super light. If you have, and this is a cast iron block, so it really doesn't matter. If you have a grinding wheel or you're going to use sandpaper on an aluminum block, if you're doing a timing belt on aluminum, be very, very tedious and careful about how you sand off your edges, or sand off the surface of your water pump, because with an aluminum block you can make an imprint in it, and you don't really want that. So with a cast iron block, you can use a grinding wheel, you can use sandpaper, use a razor. You just want that surface to be smooth, super smooth, no residue, no rust, no leftover gasket. You want it super smooth that you can see the cross hatchage in it. Once it's smooth, super smooth, wipe it off, spray it with some brake cleaner, clean it off real good. I used a little bit of RTV silicone just so my gasket could stick onto my water pump firmly. I just made a real light bead around the edges of the actual water pump, very light bead, and then an even lighter bead on the outer skirts, just so the gasket can sit on there flush. Once you got that on there, everything's flush and good. Give it a second to start to dry. Then you want to apply it. Put it on there. Set it on there. Set your screws. Hand tighten it. I'm a hand tight. When I take things apart, I'll use the impact. But as I'm putting things back together, I love to do it with a ratchet because I like to feel the pop in my wrist. You know, it's why I know I'm going tight or too tight. The only thing that you have to make sure that's super tight is your tensioner, 14 millimeter nut. Make sure that's on there pretty tight. There is a pattern, synchronized pattern to tighten down your water pump. You don't want to just go 1, 2, 3 from your top and bottom. You want to kind of just never want to just work your way around your water pump. You never want to just work your way around it. Kind of just want to tighten one corner, jump to the opposite corner, then jump to the opposite corner, then jump to the opposite, then jump to the opposite, then jump to the opposite. That's how you always want to tighten down a gasket, just to get a even, firm, solid surface to surface touch. It's just not recommended in tightening down anything to just go from, you know, work your way around. You know, it's really not. You really don't want to do that. Doesn't matter which one you start. Doesn't really matter. Just as long as whenever you start, shoots to the opposite, the opposite, the opposite, the opposite, the opposite, and that's how you lock it down. I don't have specs on foot-pounds. With the torque that I use, like I said, I use my wrist, feel it in my wrist. I've been doing this for a while. I haven't done a timing belt in a while, but once I can feel it in my wrist, this is how much slack you want in your belt. Right at the top, you want just about this much play. Everything else should be tight. No slack nowhere else. Tight. Yeah, now it's the put back together process. Make sure everything's clean and tightened up right. Make sure you put your timing belt sticker on there. It comes with new studs for your water pump. And yeah, it's a reverse process now.